Hey everyone, Jake Sloan back with another video, and right now I want to go over a quick review of the Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro and maybe help you decide which drone you should buy if you're in the market for a drone, which I assume you are because you're watching this video. So let's talk about the DJI Mavic line. First off, the Mavic Air, which is DJI's latest little drone, is a fantastic drone, but there are some cons or some things that you should know about before you buy. Let's start with number one. It's a smaller drone, which means it has less power. I know DJI says it flies faster than the Mavic Pro, but it really doesn't. In regular mode, not in sport mode, it's a bit slower than this as far as how fast it climbs, how fast it flies forward, backward, sideways, all of that. But it still handles really, really well. It just is a little bit slower. The other thing is that this thing gets less flight time. They say 27 minutes or 30 minutes if you're on the Pro Platinum. This is 21. Now, I've been getting 18 to 19, and I've been flying in extremely harsh and cold conditions, so I'm very happy with the flight time. And honestly, if you need more flight time, throw a couple extra of these in your camera bag or your backpack. They're tiny, and they don't weigh very much, and you get extra flight time. The other main complaint with this, and it is a legitimate one, is that the controller and the drone talk to each other via Wi-Fi, enhanced Wi-Fi. And that's at the 2.4 to 5.8 gigahertz, which is what home Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all those things use. And so it can be a crowded space. I haven't had much problems with it, but I'm not in a really crowded space. So if you live in a place, a big city like New York or Los Angeles or Seattle, you might have problems with it there because there's a lot more devices in that frequency range. I have not. The drone has been rock solid for me, and if you're looking to just get footage flying around you within a few hundred feet or more, then this drone is going to be great. So let's talk about some of the pluses of this drone. One, the image quality has been substantially improved over the Mavic Pro line, and I believe that's because DJI is using the same processor that they use in the Phantom 4 line, and they've increased the camera bandwidth to 100 megabits a second, which is amazing when it comes to 4K video or the 1080p 120 slow motion video, which is great. I will say I don't have any ND filters for this yet, and so if you looked at some of my other videos and you say the video is choppy, it is because my frame rate is insanely high because I'm shooting on snow in full sun. My shutter speed is usually around 2,000 to 3,000, which is really, really high. It should be down around 50 or 60. So I've got some on order. They just haven't arrived yet. So the image quality on this is substantially improved. The other thing that's great is you have front, rear, and downward sensors. Most people wreck their drones when they're flying backwards, tracking a subject, and it flies backwards into trees. If you don't believe me, look up a bunch of YouTube videos, tons of them crashing. And the other, one more downside is that there's no telemetry data on the remote, which is true. But if you're flying in line of sight, you should be able to see and get a rough idea of where your drone is and which direction it's headed fairly quickly, assuming you can see it, which you should be able to be legal. Another plus is that this thing sets up and tears down within seconds. It's so fast and it's so easy to get into the air. It really is amazing. The gimbal clamp that DJI designed is fantastic. It's super easy to put on and take off. This drone is a great drone, and tomorrow I will be testing it, taking it to the base of a glacier, across a frozen lake, in the bitter cold, with a friend of mine. And so if you want to see how this drone handles it and performs, then tune into tomorrow's video. Should be good, assuming I make it back at least. So if there's no tomorrow's video, you can, just send condolences to my friends and family. Anyway, that's this drone. Great drone. Won't quite handle the same wind that the DJI Mavic Pro will. Great video quality, not quite as fast, no telemetry data, not quite as long a range, but a good, solid overall drone. On to this drone. I was one of the lucky few to get the first shipment of these drones that they sent out after they announced it, and I pre-ordered it. This drone has been fantastic. It has been amazing. Here are some of the cons of this drone. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this drone is big. Compared to this, it's big. It's still portable, but it's big. The battery is a lot bigger and a lot heavier. One of my main problems with this drone, and seems to be a lot of people, is the gimbal. It's super fragile. You wreck one time, look at this. There's nothing around it to protect it like this. Has a nice little protection. This does not. So the gimbal gets messed up in a heartbeat. Some of the other cons of this thing is that I've had some problems with it as far as it maintaining good attitude when it's flying. The horizons tend to tilt it, and that could just be me and my particular model or something like that, but I've recalibrated the IMU, I've recalibrated the compasses, and it still seems to just happen randomly. I've never had that problem with this. Some of the pluses of this drone are that it handles really high winds, like 25, 30 miles an hour. It handles no problem. I have flown this drone at minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 35 Celsius. It's handled it no problem. So long as the battery was warm before I took off, it handled it great. The drone has incredible range, and the remote link to this is through a system that DJI calls OcuSync, which has incredible stability for huge amounts of range. And either one of these drones work great until you go behind something, which you really shouldn't do because it's breaking the visual line of sight. But both of them will lose signal at that. So the other downside of this one is that it doesn't have that great of image quality. I mean, it's good, but at 60 megabits a second for the camera, it doesn't really work well at 4K. It doesn't work great at 2.7K. It works okay at 1080p, but it's not the best. And there is absolutely no slow motion with this. If you try and do slow motion with this, it looks terrible. It's just terrible. Don't even try it. So another plus with this is that on the remote, which is charging right now, there is telemetry data. So if you lose your phone or it dies, you have something kind of to look at to get an idea of where you need to go or what you need to do to get it back to you. It's just basic information, but it's enough that you can have an idea about your drone. So, which drone should you buy? If you're looking for ultimately portability, quick setup, ease of use, great shots, great video, don't care about flying at 50,000 miles, you don't care about taking it up to 20,000 feet, which you should not do anyway, this drone is a great drone. If you're looking to get good footage of you and your friends bombing around the woods on mountain bikes or floating down rivers in canoes or exploring the outdoors or playing soccer in a field or anything like that, this drone is a great drone. This drone will do everything you need it to do and more, really. If you're looking for something more, something that will handle a little bit more extremes in weather, whether that's temperature or wind or anything like that, then I can vouch that this drone will handle it. It will do really, really well. But I would wait a couple of months because I have a feeling the next one of these is going to be more amazinger, and it's going to be announced probably in the next couple of months. So we'll have to wait and see. In the end, it comes down to buy the drone that makes you happy and that gets good video. Either of these will do that, and then enjoy it. There's always something better coming down the road. If you wait or if you wonder, you will drive yourself crazy. So don't do that. Just buy a drone and enjoy it, and please fly it safely and legally so that the rest of us who fly these things don't have to put up with more and more restrictions, please. Okay? Great. Good. Glad we had that little talk. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Let me know what you think of either of these drones in the comments below. If you like this one and why, if you like this one and why, or if you hate this one and why, and if you hate that one and why. Let me know in the comments below. I really would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you again soon on the next video. Assuming I survive my trip tomorrow and I make it back to make the next video. So anyway, I also have to pack and charge some batteries. So cheers.